Talking about Only the Brave, and I'm first off disappointed. You didn't go out and see this movie. You gave Geostorm $13 million this weekend, but you only gave Only the Brave $6 million. It's a travesty. Oscar season is looking pretty weak this year in terms of like what movies are making money and what's actually getting seen, unfortunately. I think Netflix and Amazon and a lot of the different streaming services are stealing a lot of competition away, but Only the Brave is one movie I urge you to make time for, okay? I don't usually go crazy over these sort of based on a true story, but you know what? I'm going to break it down for you like this. Only the Brave is very similar to a lot of the quote-unquote, what I call them, reality disaster movies that have been coming out recently. It's similar to Patriots Day. It's similar to Deepwater Horizon. The only difference is it doesn't star Mark Wahlberg and is not directed by Peter Berg. This is honestly a harrowing, emotional, one of the movies I've gotten the most emotional to over the year. I make no qualms in saying that. And it's a very well orchestrated effort. The film is about the Granite Mountain Hotshots, an elite group of forest firefighters that battle devastating blazes in the deserts and wilderness of Arizona. Basically, what a hotshot is the ranking of a firefighter that you want to get to. There's different tiers of rankings and stuff like that, but if you're not a hotshot, you're regulated to second fiddle, where you're basically cleaning up the mess of the certified hotshots, and you're not taken seriously and viewed more as a burden than you are of assistance in times of great catastrophe. The film stars Miles Teller as Brendan McDonough, who isn't even initially part of the Granite Mountain Hotshots squad. He's a bust-out dope addict who discovers his ex-girlfriend is 5 months pregnant, and he proceeds to respond to the news by committing larceny and getting arrested for it. His only sort of hope initially is joining the secondary firefighter crew led by Eric Marsh, played by Josh Brolin. I need to talk about Josh Brolin later on in a few minutes as well. But Marsh leads a troop of firefighters who are working to get their certification as hotshots. Some of them are Jesse Steed, played by James Badge Dale, who works very close with Marsh. And then there's also the budding influence of the very vocal and energetic Mackenzie, played by Taylor Kitsch. So there's a lot of good characters here. Jeff Bridges plays a wildlife chief who tries all that he can do to get Marsh and his firefighters a chance at the certification that they need. Meanwhile, there are several blazes that are just consuming the wildlife in Arizona. So the film goes through all the training that these hotshots did once they become certified, all the different levels of blazes that they battled. And the two screenwriters of this film I have to commend, one of whom is Ken Nolan, who wrote Black Hawk Down, which is another film that's very similar in style to this, and Eric Warren Singer, who wrote American Hustle a few years ago. Nolan and Singer take us through the difficulties in the certification process by thrusting us onto the front lines, this dry terrain where these firefighters most often work. This is a brutal setting to be in, and this is often harrowing in terms of what you experience, how much you see of these firefighters. You are literally thrown into the flames with these characters. And erased from the movie, is the presence of one person who thinks that he's the biggest hotshot of them all. And there's no worry of backstabbing. Like, the great thing about this movie is that you don't feel like the characters are out to get one another. There's no bullying going around between the characters unless it's just very good-natured in general. You don't have to worry about characters ganging up on one another too extensively. And so that's really cool in this movie. There's a really good sense of characterization that doesn't come from characters stepping on one another's toes. I'll mention the performances. The highlight here is Josh Brolin. Tremendous acting in this movie. Brolin's an actor that I've always felt that's been kind of second tier. He hasn't really had a performance that showcased him very well. In fact, in movies like Old Boy, the remake, You Will Meet the Tall Dark Stranger, the Woody Allen film, he's very generic. He's very ordinary. He almost blends in with his surroundings. Here, he's great. He's given a character that's got this gruff and tough exterior that suits him perfectly. He's given a lot of good scenes with Jennifer Connelly, who comes in this film fairly early as well and stays as sort of a connective tissue with Brolin's character as well. Very good performances by both of them here. Connelly, you think, is initially going to be sort of just a generic kind of token wife presence here, but she's great. Jennifer Connelly Connelly's always been a very great actress and somebody who's always been very interesting to watch. So seeing her in this film, very good, and she does more than just give a very generic character as well. Brolin has been the one that really surprised me the most. We all know, or you should know by now, how great of a talent Miles Teller is. That goes without saying. I think this week I'm going to probably be saying it again ad nauseum too with the release of Thank You for Your Service coming out this week, but he is tremendous. A lot of good supporting performances too by the aforementioned Dale, Kitch, Jeff Bridges is in this film, like I said, very good. Jeff Stoltz, Andy McDowell, great cast, all utilized in their own special ways. Very happy I got to see this movie. A lot of good emotion, and I'll end by saying this with Only the Brave, okay? This is the kind of movie that really convinced me, or at least showed me a little bit more why I felt Christopher Nolan's acclaimed movie Dunkirk was good, while Only the Brave is great. Only the Brave is the film I feel that many expected Dunkirk to be when they saw it. What people got was an amazing technical marvel with that film, but it's going to inevitably take a step down in quality on many fronts once it's rewatched one of the many times it will be shown on HBO. That's my opinion. I think that if you see Dunkirk, if you buy the Blu-ray on it, even if you buy the 4K, even if you splurge for that 4K so it looks really good on your curved TV, I think that it's not going to be the same theatrical experience that you would get even on a theater, let alone IMAX. Only the Brave is a great movie in the theater or outside of it. It's got a delicate balance of both character and grand scale scenes of disaster. Amazing wide angle cinematography by Claudio Miranda that captures a lot of details, a lot of moving parts, and great, almost Roger Deakins-esque style that's so well shot, so well captured. It's a moving, memorable, award-worthy movie experience. I give Only the Brave 3.5 out of 4 stars. Definitely need to make time for this film. It's not going to be in theaters very long given how poor it's been performing at the box office. Cannot recommend this film enough. 3.5 out of 4 stars for Joseph Kosinski's Only the Brave.